with one of the biggest stars on the planet, David Beckham.
Quite the Renaissance man, too. But
I just kind of felt the way he treated me was very unfair.
That Rebecca Luce, who was then a PR lady, had
He is making himself the victim and he's making me look like the liar.
No, I'm very happily married.
Do you feel bad for Victoria?
Of course I did.
Well, it was a very, very pivotal moment in the life of the Beckhams.
The world knows David Beckham as the soccer superstar who has dominated both the pitch and the fashion world. But hidden beneath the glamorous facade of Britain's beloved power couple, Beckham and his Spice Girl wife, Victoria, lies a tumultuous saga of love, betrayal, and media frenzy that has captivated tabloids and audiences alike for nearly 2 decades. Rebecca Luce, who once served as Beckham's personal assistant, has become synonymous with the affair that shook the foundations of the Beckham brand. In an exclusive interview, Rebecca takes us behind the headlines and reveals the emotional turmoil, manipulation, and empowerment that emerged from this scandal. Stick around as we unpack this affair. And before you dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth discussions. Let's uncover the truth together.
Felt the way he treated me was very unfair, what he was getting away with, and that two-faced life. And I felt that...
In 2004, when Rebecca was merely 26 years old, she publicly confessed to having engaged in an affair with the soccer icon during his time playing for Real Madrid. The relationship, which started innocently enough, took a fiery turn that would rock the tabloids and put her life under a microscope. David was not just a player on the field, he was also a player off it, Rebecca notes, with a hint of sadness in her voice. For years, Beckham denied the claims, insisting he was nothing but a devoted husband to Victoria and calling the allegations ludicrous. Such a staunch denial would incite Rebecca's ire, leaving her feeling dismissed and invalidated. His comments implied I was lying, and that infuriated me, she recalls, expressing a mixture of anger and resignation. At the onset of their relationship, Rebecca found it hard to resist Beckham's charm. He was very charismatic, kind, and made me feel special, she shares, her eyes momentarily drifting off as she recalls the spark that led her down a complicated path. When they first met, he was a major celebrity, and she was a mere mortal, thrust into an extraordinary world of fame and fortune. Their first intimate encounter happened while Victoria was away, which Rebecca characterized as a whirlwind moment of passion. Looking into his eyes, it was hard not to feel that pull, she admits, recounting the exhilaration and also the guilt she experienced. That initial encounter led to a series of secret trysts, filled with both euphoria and inherent mistrust.
For him, he's had nothing to do with this. The stories were horrible, but they were true. And he's the one who's responsible for all of this. So we're texting one day.
Yet as the initial thrill faded, so did her naivete. He told me I was the first he had ever done this with, and I believed him, she confesses sheepishly. But shortly after, I saw him with a model at a party, and I felt absolutely crushed. Once Rebecca's secret surfaced, it morphed into sensational headlines, triggering a media frenzy in which she became the scapegoat for the fallout. What began as personal heartbreak soon escalated into international gossip, painting her as the homewrecker with David as the golden boy in the eyes of the public. It felt surreal. Suddenly, I was thrust into the spotlight as a villain, says Rebecca. She recollects receiving relentless phone calls from tabloids, drowning in scrutiny and conjectures. The pictures of her and Beckham together, leaked to the press, felt like a betrayal, leading to an avalanche of negative attention. It was horrible to realize that my life was sprawled on the front pages. I was scared, terrified, and panicked. One of her darkest days came when tabloids were filled with brutal attacks. I felt cheap, used, and emotionally drained, she shares. The public backlash was severe, with accusations flying everywhere, leaving Rebecca feeling isolated and misunderstood. Even as she battled through the storm, her long-term mental health suffered, eventually leading her to confront her emotional pain. The hardships of navigating fame and betrayal forced Rebecca to confront her feelings and the way the world perceived women in such tumultuous circumstances. Men can sleep around and be seen as heroes, while women are labeled as homewreckers. It's an unfair narrative, she remarks, showcasing a deep understanding of gender dynamics in society. As Rebecca began to heal, she channeled her struggles into personal growth. Yoga became a refuge for me. It reminded me to slow down and breathe, she explains, reflecting on how practices of mindfulness provided solace during a chaotic time in her life. Today, Rebecca paves a path as a medical assistant and yoga instructor. She's married to a doctor and has 2 teenage boys. Yet, even with her new responsibilities, the scars from her past linger. I wish I could have handled things differently, but I wouldn't trade those experiences. They shaped who I am, she shares contemplatively. As recently as 2023, the Netflix documentary on David Beckham reignited old wounds. In the series, he indirectly referenced the alleged infidelity, which brought Rebecca back into the limelight once again. Watching it felt like reliving a nightmare, she confesses, noting that even years later, neither David nor Victoria have openly taken responsibility for their actions. The narrative continued to shift, with Beckham framing his past infidelities as a period of pressure upon his marriage, while Rebecca felt sidelined. This was the first time they put their love story under scrutiny, not realizing the collateral damage it left behind, she notes, reflecting on how the documentary glossed over her existence, opting to maintain their pristine image instead. Through it all, Rebecca's resilience shines. She made the courageous decision to speak out about her truth, holding firm to her narrative amidst a world eager to vilify her. I've never exaggerated or lied. I've only stuck to the truth, even when faced with the powerful forces of the media, she asserts. Although the affair defined a chapter of her life, it is not the sum of who she is.
I wish that I had maybe been a bit smarter in the way that the decisions I had made. Definitely had some moments like that.
Rebecca remains focused on self-empowerment and personal growth. If someone tries to bring me down, I will stand up for myself, she declares resolutely, embodying the strength that many women can draw from. The saga of David Beckham and Rebecca Luce is much more than mere tabloids and sensationalist headlines. It speaks to the complexities of love, betrayal, and the gender disparities that frequently shape society's lens. As Rebecca moves forward from the chaos, she embraces her past while looking toward the future with wisdom and self-acceptance. Yes, it was a part of my life, a part of my journey, and it has made me who I am today, she states, a testament to the strength of the human spirit amidst turbulent times. And while the specter of the Beckhams lingers in her rearview mirror, the road ahead is one she is ready to navigate, one scandal at a time.